Well, here I am at Signco, and got this old job here. Let's see how I'm doing here. Got this old job, and it requires hand-done stuff. I'm one of the only guys left around this part of the world that can do that, and I haven't done anything by hand in about a year. But it's kind of like riding a bicycle. Once you learn, you know what you got to do. And so I've drank enough coffee to shake an elephant. Start the day at 4 o'clock, and it's about 7 now. Got this transferred old school like with a rubbing on the back of my hand-drawn pattern, which I probably should show you for posterity. There she be. That's what we're going to try to make it look like. And away we go. And my hands are really dirty. I don't like working with stuff under my feet, and I don't like working with dirty hands. But there's a guy who works with gloves on. He letters like a dream. Forget his name, but does a lot of Mike Stevens stuff. I don't know how in the world he works with gloves on, but to each his own. I just don't like my hands to be dirty. I don't like my brushes to be dirty. So it's a brand new, I just dipped it in the brush. There's a fine piece right here. I'm not going to do the fine work first. I'm going to use the letter to palette out this brush and to see just how well this thing's going to react with me this morning. And it seems like it's going to be really nice. The Captain Cook, this whole job was started by a painting master. He was a good sign guy, and maybe a better pictorial painter. But nothing is supposed to look super overworked, you might say. So they like the little things that happen, and it's hard for me to know when to stop and let it just say hand done. I know some of you out there know what I'm talking about. Got a little bit of oil in my hand here. Brushes. Go to wipe this brush off and the whole ferrule came off. But the hairs are wonderful. So having paletted out that brush a little bit and gotten that thinner worked through the paint, now I'm going to go over to this thinner spot. Oh man, this brush is gorgeous. I'm going to let it stay thin, and I'm going to let it stay broken, because you can't buy that in stores. maybe I better have to. I'm only going over this because I got to thicken it up a little bit. Now the brush is kind of flimsy. The paint is underneath it, could be drier. And I'm having trouble building this up. I'm going to have to go the flat face of the brush here and twirl it. But you can see the brush is grabbing and its hair's binding up. That's all right. We can fix that. I don't want that stroke there to look anemic. So I'll add a little bit on this inside. And to help with that letter spacing, I'll add a little more on the outside. That phone call is somebody trying to get a hold of little old me. They probably think I'm doing my normal art directing job here. But they're gonna have to walk upstairs till I finish this. I gotta say, the only reason I'm filming this is because inspired by Jeff Marshall. What I wouldn't give to see that Rob Cooper guy letter, huh? Where are you guys with the video? Don't you know the world needs to see you guys? Bob Bohonik. There's not that many people that get to see Bob Bohonik hold a work a brush. It's like magic watching that guy. He is dangerous. Man, he's so good, so fast. And at home with a brush, it's I'm one of the fortunate ones to have seen him letter show cards and seen him with a pinstriping brush. I've never seen him letter with enamels. I don't know if he's a ball stick user or not. But his upline in the trade, Ken Millar, he used a maul stick and he was a lefty. See, your brush, it gets sharper the more you use it. So I'm not trying to do the sharp parts at the top first. You're coming down, your paint brush is losing a lot of paint and your hairs are getting sharper. I mean, this thing is almost like a pen nib right now. Go get the corners. Give yourself a little tab there to work off of. A little bit of flick there. keep that streak in there. I say it's got to look like it's. I don't want it to look like vinyl. That's something I realized that unless you've worked the brush, you just can't have the love for letters unless you're coming from the era where you have to draw them to present to the customer, then you have to draw them at scale on paper, and then you have to sometimes draw it again out on the, a final drawing after you pounce it and you see your old pounce wheel is just not as accurate as it should be, blah, blah, blah. By the time you get to the board to paint it, you've drawn the letter about 4 times. That just doesn't happen anymore. And the intimacy of your relationship to the letters is it just can't have the same feel. Calligraphy is kind of a whole different thing and has its own, because calligraphy is like watercolors in a way, and that you do it right. If you don't do it fast, it's not right. I can't imagine being a calligrapher and having 40, 60 hours in a job and having to have the guts to flick that pen, and hopefully the pen doesn't catch and spread ink splatter all over the paper. But calligraphers and sign painters have a lot in common just because they're into the letter itself and the nuances. There's a lot being talked about is some kind of people are poo-pooing nuances because as if they're not important. Now, they're not talking about sign trade. They're talking about maybe political things or something, but nuances are where it's at. I mean, just listen to Jeff Beck or look at Carl Rohrs's calligraphy. They're hitting the same notes as a lot of other people. It's how they hit them. That's called a nuance. Got to lighten up my touch here on this maul stick because I'm running out of leverage. I'm in an alcove here in this whole building. Everything here is built to do electric signs, and I'm in a closed off area. It used to be the top of a staircase, and they cut out the stairs to this area. And 1, it's warmer than the rest of the shop. 2, it's quieter and without a bunch of metal flakes flying in the air. So this is working out well. Man, this is a really good brush. This brush is unlabeled, and It's by Jackson in the UK. Let me give you what I'm thinking of it. It's probably about a number 8. The hairs are an 1.25 inches out. Gray squirrel. So if you get a hold of, I think it's Michael Jackson in the UK, you get a hold of him. It's a black handled brush that he gave to Bob Parsons. It's an 1.25 inches out. Oh gosh, it's just, I don't know if they what the term lettering pencil means. Honestly, I'm embarrassed that I don't know why some brushes are called brushes and ones are pencils, but this thing's like a pencil. It's like a pen nib at the end of this thing. It gets so sharp. Going to that Mike Stevens 3-finger grip because I got a tight corner there. Now that shaking is, I'm not nervous. I have a triggered nerve that comes into play when the palm of my hand is touched. But I'll tell you, it's nice working here at Signco. I'll just give them a plug. They treat me like gold. Dave Mabius, the owner, has created quite a shop here. It's the best shop in Anchorage as far as construction goes. It's one of the better shop environments, period. Both personnel-wise and facilities. We got a really good crew. Quality from the top down. We got a master builder as a general manager who's done everything, so that really helps to have somebody that knows every aspect of this business and gets out there and still does it because he's a worker, you know. It's Caleb Cravey. Give him a shout out. He really appreciates having somebody here from the old school of things. We'll just make that stroke go a little bit farther. Just like that. And I'll see if I can get in this picture. How you doing, folks? This is Bob Parsons saying I enjoyed my time with you, and thank you very much. We're at Signco in Anchorage, Alaska, and it's what is it? It's May 26th, 2022. God bless you and take care.